hello, my friendly acquaintances. Welcome to Fire Your Boss. I am George Bruno, and my illustrious co-hosts are Dan T-Bone Jones, also known as Jonesy, and Frank Garon. How are you, gentlemen?
Is that the Frank Vivian Garon?
It is.
Yeah, Frank,
Wow.
known as Frank Vivian Garon. Yes, that's the new me. Yes, one of my better nicknames too, so I'll gladly accept it.
And George Bebe Bruno.
Yeah. Hey, can I get your autograph? I mean, your email?
Yeah, there you
Yes.
go.
Today we're talking about niching down, or as some people like to say, niche. I don't care how you pronounce it, niche or niche. It doesn't matter to me. I remember I had a cassette tape called Niche and Grow Rich, and it was probably 35 or 40 years ago. And that was the first time that I heard the concept of defining your audience and going down to as detailed as you can get about the audience that you want. And one of the fears that people have is that they're going to be eliminating a good portion of potential customers if they go narrow. I say you'll actually grow that list. You'll grow your reach rather than being the trainer to everybody. Who are you the trainer to? Men, women, men over 40, men who are 100 pounds overweight, college educated men, blue collar men, tradesmen, first responders. Who do you want to reach? At the conference a couple months ago, we talked about going down 3 to 5 levels, niching down 3 to 5 levels. And that's scary for a lot of people because they think they're eliminating customers by getting very detailed. And when I ask people to identify their ideal customer, they're so very broad. And I catch them off guard and I say, okay, go down another level. And they're thinking, like everybody wants to reach everybody. You can't reach everybody. It's impossible. That's why we niche down. I'll give it to you, Jonesy. Why is it important to niche down? Why is it important to have even a micro niche?
A few reasons. One is that you can better focus your offering, your product or service to a specific avatar, which allows you to deliver a better product. First of all, if you're focusing on somebody. So that goes all the way from your product development to your sales process, your communication, and what the problem is you're actually solving. It's more specificity, which it just creates a better experience from start to finish. Second is that, well, first of all, not everybody's going to be a fit for your product. So it does allow you to create some pre-qualification, disqualification upfront, which is okay. That's okay. That's what you want. You don't want somebody going through your funnel, your sales pipeline. Where's the camera? And going all the way to the bottom, and then realizing that there's some big objection at the end that is not able to be overcome. It's the reason why we don't have budget luxury. Those two words really shouldn't go together. And there's arguments for it against that, but I'm kind of using that, as an example. A Kia is not a Lexus, okay? And, Lexus and some of these higher end cars, they're selling an experience as much as they are a lifestyle, as much as they are a product itself. Secondly, it actually does not overall exclude you from serving a wider audience than what you're particularly niching for anyway. You can have a non-ideal or non-3 to 5 niched client become a client because they still resonate with the problems that you're solving. Even in, if we're talking about a local business who niches down geographically by saying, all right, so we're in Southeast Pennsylvania here. I help businesses in Lower Bucks County position themselves to be the top of Google listings from an SEO perspective. But what if somebody from across the bridge in Jersey approaches me? Yeah, I'm going to work with them. So I'm not, creating an absolute, walled garden here. But I am focused on my core community, thus delivering the superior product or service from an offering standpoint and a messaging standpoint, while at the same time not limiting myself.
Yeah, it's funny. When I was working full-time in the hair industry, we used to talk about if a barbershop or salon opens up, you do a mailing like within 5 miles, every home within 5 miles. And Now, I guess you can target people through social media. Obviously, you don't have to actually send something through the mail. But I like the idea of, like, for instance, when I was working with guys who just don't want to be a walk-in barbershop doing $20 haircuts. They want to do the $40, $50, and $60 haircuts. They're not going to send postcards to everybody within a 5-mile radius of their shop. They're going to do social media. They're going to talk about the value that they bring. They're going to have a mailing list for men who are interested in grooming and just going beyond taking a shower and giving yourself a shave every day, that type of thing. So I asked the guy, and I said this in the last show, I asked a guy who works with men. He's a trainer. I'm like, well, who? What kind of men? And he said, men over 40. I said, okay, tell me about that man. Give me the profile of that man. And he struggled. He struggled. And I think what happens is, like I said, we think that when we niche down, that we're eliminating customers. We're telling people you can't come here when we niche down. I think it's just the opposite. I think we're actually making ourselves much more valuable to people if we niche down. What are your thoughts, Frank, Garon?
Well, my thoughts are this. Number one, you don't want a big ass list just for the sake of it, because you're going to pay at any one of these places. You're paying for space. So, what I mean by that is, if you have a 10,000 person list, you're paying X. If you have a 250,000 list, you're paying a multiple of X. So why would you have all these people on there if they're not really your market? Second thing is, everybody wants to feel special. Today's information age, everybody lives in the suburbs. There's not as much community or connection anymore in real life. Everybody's so damn busy living life. There's not a lot of time for connection. So they want to feel like part of a club, part of a team. They want to belong, and they want to feel special. Again, it's so easy. Your competitors, if they know what they're doing, can make your person, your customer, your ideal client feel so special, so fast, that if you try to be all things to all people, there's no way you can do that. And you talk about niching down and niching down and niching down. It came to mind, model trains, right? One of the things I'm into. So you have at least 5 or 6 different scales, like car models all come in different scales. You've got Z, N, HO, S, O gauge, and then even bigger than that. I mean, some of these things are like, you could practically ride on them. So you've got at least 7 or 8 different gauges. Then you niche down. Let's pick Lionel train set. Is it the kind you run around the Christmas tree, or is it the kind that it's the size of a Lionel train, but it's a bit more prototypical? Either one of those is a niche. Let's niche down some more. Now we've got those. Do you want your trains with sound, remote control, which is called DCC, direct command control, I believe it is? Or do you want them just the big old black Lionel transformer that we had under our Christmas tree? Then do you want steam engines with the smoke coming at the top, a diesel with the or an electric that just goes by smoothly, like the train we would take to New York City or Philly? There's all that to be served, and yet that's just model railroads. I mean, so if you're gonna be like modelrailroad.com and serve everybody, you serve nobody. There's a reason why. Matter of fact, when I go to my hobby shop in Piscataway, New Jersey next Saturday, the Model Railroad shop, I go to pick up my magazines when I go see my mom. They'll have, they even have a magazine for the trains, the model trains that were around when we were kids in the 60s and 70s and 80s, a nostalgic model train magazine and a market for that. Stuff was horrible. It ran bad. It derailed. It was supposed to be this size. It was like this size or this size. Everything was wrong. But you remember that as a kid, and you love that. And there's people that pay top dollar for this crap. We used to buy it like Bradley's or Two Guys, all these stores that are out of business now, Kmart, Toys R Us. And people will pay $40 for something that was worth $5 30, 40 years ago. That's a niche and a niche and a niche and a niche. And I'm telling you what, very much you can make money in that stuff. Absolutely, a niche that tight. Because what you want to do is own a large space, a large percentage of any given defined market. And if you own a large percentage of a marketplace of fervent people that are devoted to a cause, an interest, a hobby, a passion, a study, a science, whatever, you're going to make money if you do it right. You are going to make money. You have to screw it up not to make money, I would say.
Yeah, it's funny how people operate so much by fear. They operate so much by fear. And when I ask people who your ideal customer is, people live under the delusion that they appeal to everybody and that everybody is a potential customer. And they don't want to think that they are narrow, that they need to go narrow, and they feel like they're eliminating customers when they get detailed. And I just think it's so important to be able to identify your ideal customer. I mean, I know trying to think, there was a book, it'll come to me. I don't know if it's a Dan Kennedy book where he asked like 50 questions about your potential customer. Everything from, are they meat eaters or are they vegans? Do they drive motorcycles? Do they shave with a blade or an electric razor? Are they English primary language or English as a second language? He literally said, you need to find out as much as you possibly can about your customer. And I'll tell you what, man, that's intimidating, because for the most part, most people only know the email address of their customer, and that is it. They know nothing else about them. I would say that you can even segment your mailing list by knowing more about your customer.
Absolutely.
How does that work, Jonesy?
All right. So in marketing, the more information, the more research, and the more data we have, the better we can perform, the better we can advertise, and thus have better conversions about it. So if we're going to put it back into the perspective of a list, we're going to assume that at some point we have some conversion data. So we know who the buyers are, right? Well, then how do we get them to de-anonymize further in an age where privacy is at the utmost concern? At the time of this recording, there was a massive database breach where, I don't know, 2/3 of the probably more than that, 80% of the United States' social security number was compromised.
Yeah.
It sucks. It's a trying time. So you have to go back and incentivize, create a survey. You can do any number of things on a customer service number, ask them to do a voluntary survey, opt in, give them some additional demographic information in order to, do a giveaway, something like that. It's still another way of trading information for a thing. But, to your point, the more of these details you have, the better product and service you can craft. You can also leverage some analytics that are built into your platforms, specifically on social media and on your own website. So Microsoft Clarity, Google Analytics, Facebook, Instagram, they all have these insights and metrics built in where you can see what your target audience is by demographic, by geographical location, and to a degree, affinity, which is stuff that they're also searching for and liking, behaviors within your ecosphere on your own digital platform or within the social media platforms. What else are they searching for? What else do they like? Some of it's self-reported and aggregate data, but a lot of it is actually tracked. So it can all be leveraged and utilized, to focus your offer to that avatar. You're going to create an avatar, maybe a couple avatars, right? Even when you're niched down a few levels, you can create, we literally, we name them. All right. We name our avatars, Bob, Sally, Alex, Nancy, and create their story based on this data. Whether it's an aggregate, whether those are 4 fictitious people that represents who we're serving, who we're selling to. And then you craft everything to target them. And you can also break it down to stages of the funnel. So obviously those who have bought from you, start there, because you know that, we'll just say 10 people. You have 10 people who bought from you. So that's 10 pieces of conversion data. do everything you can to find out as much information about their journey toward you, what value they saw in you. Directly ask them. Doesn't matter. You have nothing to lose by asking them. They already bought. And if they're happy with the product or service, they're probably more than happy to share that information with you, and possibly others. But anyway, then you reverse engineer the process. And, if you're having trouble deciding what your niche is, well, you already have these 10 people that bought from you. So if you hadn't had it defined, that's how you start. Start with those 10 people. Those are your avatars. And then, you mentioned that Dan Kennedy book. Hell, find out if they're vegan or not. Whatever, it doesn't matter. Or it could be irrelevant. And that's the beautiful part about marketing, is we're allowed to be wrong a lot, because being wrong actually just means we are eliminating what does not work and disqualifying those who are not good fits for our product or service.
Not only that, but being wrong doesn't have to cost you money. I mean, that's one thing I tell people: mail your list, and not just once a month, because number one, your competition is probably mailing more than that. Number two, the mailing is free. Your sunken costs are in the size of your list typically, not how many messages you send out. Number three, you're trying to qualify that list and build a relationship with them. Okay, so use your list. And if you make a mistake, what happens? Like when I coach people, I'm like, just hit the damn send key. What are they going to do? Jump through the computer and attack you because they don't like what you wrote? Lit villagers with lit torches are going to surround my house one night because I said something that didn't go down right. It doesn't happen. You can't. The only way you can kill a list is by pounding the bejeebies out of it every day with a marketing message. And that's why Jonesy and I have a very specific 2 days on, 1 day off, basically. Market to them for 2 days. 1 day, I'm talking to them about getting their life together or the psychology or whatever. Then 2 days on of more marketing, or you can split it up, but you know what I mean? You have an on-off system. You don't market to them every day because you're going to kill your list. Second thing is, the only other way to kill your list is to not mail it and have a bunch of zombie emails on there that these people don't even know you. And I've done that. And I mean, everything I tell you to do or not to do, I've either done it or done the wrong thing myself. There's been times where I've been busy and neglected my list. Guess what? It came back to bite me right in the tuchus, because you know what? You go back and the people in their head are like, well, where were you for the past 2 months, Frank? You used to write to me every week, twice a week. You can't do that. Consistency over time is what builds a relationship and a rapport and a resonance with your list.
Yeah, I like that. It's funny. I know a guy that's starting an outreach now for men 45 and over, guys that are getting divorced, at 45 or older.
Right.
And
it's rough.
It's about intersexual, intergender dynamics and how to maybe get back into the dating world if that's something you want to do. Because, the guy that's been married 20 years, the world was a different place back when he was dating over 20 years ago.
Oh, sure.
And he is going to get a great surprise, a real shock when he puts himself back out in the dating world after 45 or 50 years old. It's just going to be like, what in the world happened? It's not the same world. It's like, it's Rip Van Winkle going to sleep for a bunch of years. It's like going away to prison. Someone was saying, I never saw the show Tulsa King with Sylvester Stallone. Apparently he's like a mobster that went away to prison for 25 years. He got out and he's still kind of thinking, which kind of reminds me of Austin Powers or something like that. Was it Austin Powers?
Yeah, he was frozen and came back from the 60s to the 90s.
Yeah. And the movie Sleeper, Woody Allen, where
God.
which is hilarious, but it's like going away to prison. Like when these guys went away to prison, there was no such thing as a cell phone. There were no PCs, that type of thing. So his service is for men over 45 who haven't been in the dating game for 25 years. And they join a group and they're going to have like weekly Zoom calls and content specifically. Like the 25-year-old guy looking to hook up has different priorities than the 45 or 50-year-old guy who wants a companion. I mean, obviously there's different hormonal things going on in different decades of a man's life, but when you're older, you're not specifically looking for physical affection. as much as you might be looking for an activity partner or a companionship of some type. Whereas the young guys, they're thinking with something else as opposed to their brain. And I think it's gonna take off. I think when he launches it, I really think it's gonna take off. I really do, because it seems like there's like one source for this, and it's all meant for the guy that is, like 20 to 40 years old. And after 40, it's just a different game out there. So I do think that niching down is super, super important.
I actually have a very good
there.
example from one of our members in conversion chemistry, who is putting together a mastermind. She actually, I copied it and wrote it in my notes here because I wanted to share it, just about how focused her niche is. Because we're actually using her as an example for an AI seminar we did. This is our friend Terry Peacock's MBA from terrypeacocksmba.com. She's starting a women's focused mastermind in October of 2024. And we were working with her and helping her out with putting together, the offer, the package, and the funnel for it. The best part is she created her own 5-level niche without us even having to ask her for it, which is great. It's, you must be a woman in midlife with a professional career, age 45 to 70. Okay, so now we have career status and age. Must live in central New Jersey or Bucks County, Pennsylvania. Geography. Must be thinking about making a change or working on a goal. So we got some mindset stuff there, or at least some aspiration for change. You must be respectful of all participants, comfortable with group process, and open to new ideas. So that's kind of a mindset and values right there. Committed to taking action and accountable for the actions you promise to take. So we have like 3 kind of mindset and values-based niching right there, and then a few demographic and geo. And that's about as damn near perfect as a 3 level niche as you can get for this particular type of forum, which is a mastermind.
Yeah, that's true.
And me, as the 40-year-old male, okay, that's not for me. Fine, cool.
Yeah, well, we'll just go form our own mastermind.
Yeah, this is great for a for instance, when I think about niching down, when I think about mastermind groups, I mean, you could have a mastermind group for those that are involved in direct mail. You could have a mastermind group for those that have brick and mortar businesses. You can have mastermind groups for people that are in like info marketing of some type. It's unlimited, absolutely unlimited. I know there are a wide variety of people that are watching this podcast right now. And I will tell you, you really do need to figure out 3 to 5 levels deep of who you want to reach. And I think you increase your chances, the probability of success and building a strong base if you go down 3 to 5 levels. I mean, the more the merrier, but I think minimum 3. Would you say 3 minimum, Jonesy?
3 minimum, because that's going to create a clarity in your minimum viable product, if nothing else to start with. You can always go further from there, but yeah, you need to have absolute clarity in who you serve and why you serve them. And it can help somebody do that, or at least start figuring it out, or even if they haven't figured out what it is they want to do, we have the tool for that. Remember the niche navigator from season 1? Well, it's back and it's upgraded at fireyourboss.win. Niche navigator, powered by AI, asks the users to input answers to 12 questions, asking everything about, what are they interested in and constantly learning about, what problems have they already solved, where they're at in life, what interests them. 12 questions, and then it gives a few actual suggestions about potential niches that they could monetize.
The thing of beauty, I tell you.
I like that. Speaking of websites, that's at fireyourboss.win. Is that correct?
Correct.
Excellent. And fireyourboss.win has an excellent relationship with conversion chemistry. Tell the audience about the relationship between Fire Your Boss and conversion chemistry.
What, do you want the technical version? It's a landing page on conversionchemistry.com with a URL forward.
Yeah.
Nerd alert.
That's the technical side of it.
Yeah.
The more visceral and emotional side of it is we serve, Jonesy and I serve as the technical arm of the whole fire your boss movement, and we do that through conversion chemistry. So we are at one with George as an alliance, as a friend and a valued partner, because we believe in what he does, and we back everything up on the tech side, I would say, with our own conversion chemistry material and guidance.
What is the latest? Go ahead.
And we have a redirect page at blah 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 .win, whatever he said, Techno Boy.
Yeah, I mean, why would we have a whole separate ecosystem when it's a direct tie-in? And fireyourboss.win takes you back to georgebruno.com, and it takes you to conversionchemistry.com all the same.
Yeah.
Where you can join George's Clarity Club. You can purchase our Fire Your Boss blueprint at a ridiculous back-to-school pricing right now at only $97 using promo code Bruno.
Yeah.
So we're a Venn diagram of conversion chemistry and George Bruno. Listen, my son is Fire Your Boss.
It's where they intersect.
Excellent. Great symbiotic relationship between all these entities. Definitely. Is there going to be a Fire Your Boss meetup or some kind of conference or something is that in the air, or was I just thinking that?
I may have manifested that into your consciousness. I believe that a Fire Your Boss summit, either virtual, in person, or perhaps both, is on the horizon. I really think it is. And if we had to define our niche, let's do that round table. So our Fire Your Boss niche is either a current entrepreneur or somebody who's employed and wants to quit the grind and be their own boss. What's the next level down?
They're ready to do something about it, and not just think about it. Exactly. They're at a point where they're ready to move and change and grow, but they don't know exactly how.
Yep. And I'll say ours is not going to be demographic specific. The demographic is going to be behavior and mindset based rather than age or geography.
Yeah.
So state of readiness, core values, which is improvement, empowerment, both for yourself and for other entrepreneurs. I would say to a degree, challenging and questioning authority, disrupting establishment.
Really being willing to think outside the box, knowing there's something better, even if it's intangible right now, but you know it's there for a fact.
Yeah. What about with conversion chemistry? You guys have had some workshops. Give yourselves a shout out about that. Tell me about some of those workshops and things that you've done already, and promote it here.
Okay, so one of the benefits that a member gets of conversion chemistry, a plus level member, is we do a monthly, and it's going to turn into bi-weekly very soon, our empowerment hours, which is really like an open office hours where you can consult with myself, with Frank, and with Hannah, the business doctor. Bring us your problems in sales, marketing, and business, and we will either solve them ourselves or crowdsource a solution from ourselves and our members. We're multi-industry, so we can cross-pollinate solutions. It also serves as a forum for a hot seat for somebody who wants to be on public display for the rest of our members, so we can do it live, solve it live. And then we're also doing, at least right now, a monthly workshop. It will be bi-weekly very soon, on particular subject matters in sales and marketing and business. For example, we just did one on authentic and scalable use of AI.
That was awesome. I was even taking notes on that one, George.
Oh,
excellent
wow.
stuff. And Jonesy, the next day I was talking to a client and they were still reticent to get involved with AI, even after I told them this, and this. And I can understand it's a little overwhelming, but guys and gals, if you're not learning about AI now, I don't know when you're going to do it. That's all I'm going to say, because
it's like real estate. The best time to get involved already passed. The second best time to start
is now, like right now.
Yeah. I will never forget Dennis Waitley. Remember that name, Dennis Waitley?
Oh, yeah. Yep. I know who he is. Yeah.
Decades ago. I remember literally 35 years ago, his exact words, and he was speaking right here at the Conshohocken Marriott. And I'll never forget him saying, if you're not online, you'll be in the bread line. And I think we're at the point now, if you're, well, that was a cute saying, but we got to come up with a saying, like, if you're not using AI, we got to figure out something that rhymes. But I really think that AI we've just barely scratched the surface on how to use AI.
Absolutely, George. This is early days. I would say this is somewhere between alpha and beta. You know what I mean, Jonesy? Like, yes, there's programs that are out there now and they do wonderful things, but 5 years from now, we're going to look back and laugh. Like Chat GPT now is going to look like 14.4 dial-up on AOL in not too long of a period from now. I really think AI is going to solve things like I can have a conspiracy theory thought about it, but things like cancer, MS, genetic issues and stuff, because there's no way it can't. You put all these supercomputers together and you teach it this neural thinking and stuff, it's going to come up with solutions. It has to. So I'm really excited,
Yeah.
And this, me, a fan of Terminator movies where Skynet becomes sentient and kills us all. That's worst case scenario. At least up until then, we're going to have a hell of a party fixing the things that need fixing in life, people. And AI is your friend, at least for right now, anyway.
Well, I believe you, just like I believed you about Black Mirror, which I'm now watching all the episodes.
That's great.
And
Excellent
I am
show.
just, it goes places that you just never ever imagined. It's cutting edge creative as far as everything, cinematography, storylines, just everything about it is it's like Twilight Zone on AI.
Mm-hmm. That's a very succinct and perfect way to sum up Black Mirror. Twilight Zone on AI.
It makes you think about everything and it knocks you off your feet to the ground. And when you pick yourself up, it really gets you to thinking about, oh, snap, I can see that now already coming. And it's like a big question mark and a commentary. What does it mean? What is the interface going to look like between the amount of control that we give ourselves versus how much we give out and away to AI? And I find it a fascinating topic and a exceptionally well done series. And can't wait till season 5 comes out, man. It's going to be great.
Yeah, I'm thoroughly enjoying it because it really is catching me off guard. It really, really is. It's interesting how AI is disrupting so many things in the same way that Uber and Lyft completely disrupted the taxi, and transportation world, and turned the average consumer into a taxi driver, so to speak, that to the point where taxi drivers quit being taxi drivers and are now just full-time Uber and Lyft drivers, and they're in charge of everything. And and they're only answering to themselves. It's pretty interesting. In the same way that A24 films, like, I love anything A24. I don't know if you guys are familiar with production companies, but anything with A24 is so cutting edge, whether it be a drama, a mystery, even their horror films are just coming from another planet. It's just amazing, absolutely amazing. So anything disruptive, I think, is pretty cool. And I like to think that the three of us with Fire Your Boss, we're not just traditionalists. We're not afraid to be a little bit disruptive with some of our ideas. We're not afraid to be disruptive with our statements and helping people niche down. I mean, we all have the experience, real world experience. We all have online experience. We've all done a lot of online marketing. We've all made a lot of money online, and still that's just barely scratching the surface. And I think I will speak for myself. If I can do it, anyone can do it.
And if you can do it once, you can probably do it more than once, which is why I'm particularly really passionate and excited about what we're doing here, not just with running conversion chemistry, but the whole Fire Your Boss movement. So I started a marketing agency, right? That was me quitting my job and doing my own thing. Well, I'm having such a blast with this. Like, I want to quit that job. But the beautiful part about entrepreneurship is you can start and scale a business, keep all of it, a portion of it, doesn't matter, whatever your goals are, and do it again and do it
Yeah.
again and again and again. That's what the real successful people do.
Yeah.
Enough of this, oh, work hard and you'll get a raise. No, you'll get work.
BS on that.
Yeah. It's not about more better. Take us in for a landing, Jonesy. Where can people find you, and give us the last word?
Fireyyourboss.win, because I want to see you win.
I love it. Mr. Frank Garon, your last word.
Yes, this is Frank. Don't call me Vivian Garon. Come visit us at Conversion Chemistry, because I think you'll find it a very warm, welcoming, and yet highly professional and valuable place to get the information, actions, and instructions on what you need to do in order to be able to quite possibly fire your boss via using the internet.
Nice. You know, what you said just reminded me of the movie Stripes. Wasn't there a guy that was like, if you touch my stuff, I'll kill you. Any of you get near me, I'll kill you. Don't call me Francis, and I'll kill you, or I'll kill you. wasn't there something like that?
That's a fact, Jack. Absolutely.
So don't call me Vicky. That's right. All right, gentlemen. People can go to conversionchemistry.com. What is the latest deal?
The latest deal is our Fire Your Boss blueprint at the ridiculously low price of $97, half off, using promo code Bruno, which you can either get at georgebruno.com or fireyourboss.win. And it's a 10-module course that within 91 days, right? We want to give you 1 day of rest.
91 days.
We want you to start tomorrow. All right. Be realistic. Everybody says start today. Nah, you know what? You're going to have a pretty productive 90 days ahead of you. Start tomorrow. It's the blueprint to establish your digital footprint, your brand, your identity, create your product service, bring it to market, and give yourself the leverage to create income to quit your job.
I love it. Love it. Thank you, gentlemen. Appreciate your time. And for the audience, our friendly acquaintances, we'll see you next time on Fire Your Boss.